Thank you for coming today. We want to share some information about a case that we have been working since yesterday. All of you should have received a brief press release. Yesterday afternoon, we began an attempt to contact investigation. A longtime educator from the Putnam County school system, a Jan Dunn Keller, last name is Keller, K-E-L-L-E-R. Jan was reported missing by her daughter and by some of the folks in the school system. With it being the first day of school, obviously it was odd that she was not in attendance. Our deputies made contact. Well, we found out that she lived in St. Johns County on out across from Mill Creek School in a subdivision. Yesterday afternoon, about 2 o'clock, we made contact with an individual that lived at that residence by the name of Timothy Rose. Mr. Rose was the boyfriend of Miss Keller. Mr. Rose stated that he had last seen Miss Keller outside of the Oasis restaurant here in St. Johns County at approximately 10:30 the night before. Yeah, he stated he had left Keller's there and he went home. He stated he did not call her that night. There was something wrong with his cell phone. Later Monday night, which was last night, we didn't feel good about this call. And I want to tell you that we are where we are today on this case because of instincts of our patrol folks and the tenacity of our patrol folks. These guys and gals were out there last night, and they were looking at the different scenarios, and they were anticipating things. I'm not sure I would have gone as far as they did. They did an outstanding job. Later Monday night, last night, we had reason to go back to the residence just to check on the residence. We were not comfortable with the answers that were provided by Mr. Rose earlier. We went back to the residence, and our deputies observed a pickup truck that was backed up to the residence, to the garage. There was a shovel with fresh dirt on it in the back of the pickup truck, and I believe a beer or something in the front in the cab. The deputies immediately set up surveillance on the property, and several attempts were made to reach somebody inside. So at this point, we've got an attempt to contact. We've got an instinct that there's something not quite right. We're not getting any answer from inside the house. We contacted our detectives this morning, and the decision was made to go ahead and force entrance into the residence, being concerned for the welfare of both Ms. Keller and, for that matter, Mr. Rose. We got into the residence, and we found Mr. Rose. He was unconscious, lying underneath a front window in the house. There was an empty pill bottle near him and a shotgun close by. The evidence suggests that it was an attempted suicide. The deputies immediately requested rescue, got rescue there. We weren't sure he was going to make it, but the last information that we had is that Mr. Rose is going to survive. He is in Flagler Hospital here in St. Johns County. We served a search warrant at the house. We shut the house down, and we served a search warrant at the home, and we found the body of a female in the garage. She had been wrapped up with some material, and we are in the process right now of processing the crime scene. There is no question that this is a homicide. We have not made positive identification. And I guess the reason we're putting the name out is so many people in the community have already put the pieces together. The next of kin has been notified. I was on the phone this morning with Tom Townsend, the superintendent of schools in Putnam County, and I'll tell you one of the things he told me. He told me, he said, "Sheriff, I'd like some notice before you release anything to the media or to the public." And he said she wasn't just a loved member of the staff; she was a beloved member of the staff. I did not know Miss Keller, but I understand she was a devoted and well-respected and well-liked member of his team over in Putnam County. So right now we are continuing to process our crime scene. We have Mr. Rose at the hospital. He's under guard at the hospital. We don't anticipate him getting released anytime soon. Obviously, we're going to take our time on the case. It may seem like what one would characterize as an open and shut case, but that's never the case with these homicide cases. They're always complex, even the ones that appear that they're not. But again, yesterday and last night, I want to give a lot of credit to the men and women that were out there in uniform making decisions. This was a strictly attempt to contact yesterday. Our first deputy actually filed a written report, which is not even called for an attempt to contact, but he didn't feel comfortable with the mannerisms, if you will, of Mr. Rose. He got that report, supervisor saw it, and he didn't like what he saw. And I honestly, and it's conjecture on my part, but I honestly believe that had those deputies not made the series of decisions that they made, we would be probably looking for her, the victim, today. In fact, evidence suggests he may have already gone out and started preparing where he was going to place the body, but that's another story. That's where we're at today. The state attorney's office has been involved. R.J. Larizza's staff has been involved. Our folks are processing the crime scene. I think have we had some help from FDLE on this? It's our folks. Our folks are processing the crime scene. Again, next of kin's been notified. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I'm hearing that she taught third grade at Keller Smith Elementary.
It is Kelly Smith Elementary. Tom told me he believed it was third grade. Her maiden name was Dunn. Apparently her family's a long-term family in Putnam County. Apparently she taught at, I think, Interlochen Elementary or something for a while. Mr. Rose does have a criminal background. He's unemployed. I do not know how long they've been together. I don't know how long they were living at that home together. But it's certainly a sad day for all of us.
Has he been charged?
He has not been charged yet. We're going to take our time on that. He's not going anywhere. And one of the reasons that this came up in one of y'all's articles recently on traffic accidents. The minute we charge and we arrest, we've got to come under the speedy trial rules. So we're going to charge him when we feel completely comfortable. Because the minute we make that charge, we've got to come to trial within a certain amount of time. So we've got a lot more things to do, a lot more investigating to do, but I fully anticipate him being charged with homicide.
Well, is there a cause of death?
Not prepared to say at this point.
Do you know if the two had been arguing, if there was any kind of ongoing situation between the two?
You want to weigh in on it?
We haven't been able to confirm or...
Not able to confirm.
Is Mr. Rose conscious?
I'm
conscious?
Mr. Rose was unconscious at the time he was discovered in the front of his home. We suspect he was looking out the window, and we kind of interrupted him in the middle of everything, and he realized he couldn't get out of the house once we were stationed there. And again, this is conjecture that it's at some point during the evening. The evidence suggests he tried to kill himself.
Is he conscious at the hospital?
He is conscious now. He is conscious now.
Did you guys have a conversation with him?
No, we have not.
Have not.
Do you know how long they've been together?
No, ma'am, we don't know how long they've been.
Not sure.
It was his truck backed up to the house.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Jim?
Sheriff, you mentioned he has a criminal background. Do you know what that is?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, but I believe there was a couple of domestic violence cases, Jim. I'm not sure what other ones were, but there were several arrests.
Some driving.
Some driving issues. domestic battery.
Would she have been the victim of the domestic battery? We don't know.
No,
Okay,
she was not.
thank you, sir.
You mentioned she had children. Do you know how many or what?
I have been told that she is the one child, and the child is Casey Joe Keller. I do not know if she has other children. She's got a cousin. Apparently, it's a big family, and she's got a cousin that's a captain with a law enforcement agency, I think in Orange County, Florida. And he actually came up last night when he found out that his cousin was we were looking for his cousin, and he kind of helped us out last night, quite a bit as a family member, being concerned and all. We just obviously we wish we could have gotten in there sooner. It is a residential neighborhood, and we did not receive any calls about any problems or issues. Any other questions?
Can you say what she was wrapped up in? What she was wrapped
It was a tarp of some sort. It was I wasn't there. I looked at photos, and it looked like whoever did it was in the process of transporting, getting ready to transport her somewhere. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know when she might have been killed? The timeline of that?
It was sometime between Sunday and
this morning.
this morning. We actually when did we locate the body?
This morning, roughly at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, and so sometime in between 8 o'clock this morning and Sunday evening.
And just to clarify, that was in his house that he located?
Yes, in the garage of his house, and he was located in his house as well. Was I clear on that? Okay.
Under the window, so you said, right?
Yes, he was under the front window, and again, conjecture, we think he was looking out and realized he couldn't get out, but again, I tell you, I'm not sure if I was the sergeant out there last night, I would have gone as far as our guys did. And we always train our people to use that worst case scenario thought process, and they sure did last night, and they did a fantastic job. Obviously, it would have been perfect if we could have intervened prior to the incident, but we didn't have that opportunity.
Was the child in the house when you found her? If she had a kid?
Child?
She has a child?
Oh, no, that's not a child. It's an adult child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this victim was born in '61. I don't think I said that.
Oh, okay.
This victim was born in '61, so Casey's an adult.
And this is discussed that they shared a house off of Pachetti Road?
Passetti Road.
So they shared a home, but they also had individual homes?
No. No, but she worked. Are you okay? Are you good on that, ma'am? Okay.
They were living together at that home?
Yes. I'm sorry, I wasn't clear on that. Yes, they lived together at that home on Passetti Road. She worked in Putnam County, which is really not that far from where she lives, but they lived together. No other? Yes.
Just to be clear, the officer spoke to Mr. Rose
Yes.
yesterday? Or-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And he appeared nervous or something wasn't right.
We our folks, I'm not going to use the word nervous, but when you're in this profession for a long time, you develop an intuitive sense, if you will. Well, I mean, reporters do for that matter, but our guys that were there just didn't feel real comfortable with this guy's mannerisms, his answers, his body language. It's one of those things that's hard to convey, but it's an intuitive sense, and that is why our deputy decided to write a report and memorialize in fact, he actually had the foresight to get a written statement from this guy at that time, which is phenomenal. I mean, and then as we got looking at that report and looking more at it, they decided to go back by the house and saw the truck, and I mean, just very, very fortuitous.
I'm amazed that you guys saw that the shovel was found and fresh dirt was found. Can you go over that again? That's really
Well, there was fresh dirt on the shovel, and we believe, and we have not proven this, but it's our belief His truck was seen driving out of the neighborhood prior to us getting there, and we believe he went and prepared a burial site somewhere. Where, we don't know, and it may not be the case, but we think he went and prepared a burial site, came back, and then we happened to just show up at that right time, and he couldn't get out of the house. And then he made more bad decisions after that. So, well, I appreciate everybody coming down. If there's any other, I'm sure there'll be additional developments, and keep this woman in your thoughts. I know the school system over in Putnam County is absolutely devastated. Thank you so much, everybody.